Linda, where are you? That'd be great. Linda, where are you?
Where are we at, Dylan?
100 miles from the finish. Quick 100.
Yeah, quick 100.
That's in 2 days.
Have fun.
I don't know. They just seem like nice people. I'm doing that at the finish too. Aisle 0. Okay, bye.
There's a group. We're lined up. We're about a quarter mile in, if that. All right, we're 1 mile in, 18 minutes, so a little over 3 miles an hour. And starting to spread out a little bit. But a little bit fast paced. Dylan's up there leading the group. My new shoes are getting muddy fast. They're still pretty white. This trail got a lot of rain last night, a little bit today. Only 30 minutes in, and there is nobody behind me and nobody in front of me. That's what it looks like, nothing but woods. Gorgeous. It's like a solo backpacking trip. It is really beautiful out. Might only get some rain on Saturday night, late after midnight or something, for a few hours. So we'll see. That's probably wrong too, so we might get soaked. But it is beautiful right now, nice and cool. 65 degrees or so. A little bit of a breeze. And it's just a pretty walk. Just a walk through the woods. Into some old growth stuff here. There's no real underbrush anymore for a minute, and some big trees through here. About an hour, almost an hour in. Got a good pace. Still mostly walking by myself, which is pretty pleasant. Trail's definitely a little muddy, but not horrible. We are 1 hour in, 3.3 miles an hour. Still feeling good. Pretty spot. About an hour and 20 minutes in. This is a pretty little rise. The view of the reservoir coming up. Beautiful day. A little bit of a breeze. Cool. Two hours in, 6.5 miles, so still well above 3 miles an hour. Not quite 3.3 this time, but moving along at a pretty hot pace. Still got another hour or so of light. Still a little bit muddy, but most part, this part's real nice, pretty. Been on this section several times. Show you some of what I'm eating. These Pro bars, I think I have 9 of them, 8 or 9 of them, a couple different flavors, and have one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, part of that, and snacking or whatever, but pack a lot of calories, 390 calories I think per bar. So see if we can get across here without getting too wet.
Good. We didn't make it too far.
Not too bad. Right above Handsome Lake now. Reservoir is still. The wind's died down. Looks like it's going to be a pretty classic Allegheny sunset. Just climbed that hill from Handsome Lake up to the top of the almost the top of the ridge. It is steep, and now between Handsome Lake and Hopewell, the sun is going down. Drive another hour of sunlight still. It's just above the mountains. It is gorgeous. Almost be worth it to drop down to Hopewell and sit and watch it for a while, but maybe in a couple of weeks. I got other things to do today. Been here before. That's the trail down to Hopewell. If you go to the left or go straight, we're going up, and this is the route to the brandy cache if you're so inclined. Up on the ridge, straight above Hopewell. Did a heck of a job maintaining the trail. Looks like they came through the weed whacker a few weeks ago and cleared some of the tall grass right on the trail. So much appreciated. I know this place too. I'm on a long downhill coming down to Sugar Bay. It is steep and muddy and it's starting to get dark. Don't need the headlamp quite yet, but pretty soon. We are at the 3-hour mark and at 9.7 miles. So coming up to that bridge and then the road. I was hoping to get there before dark. It's getting almost headlamp time, but I think if we get out on the road and out from these trees, it'll brighten up a little bit. I think that goes along an open trail for a couple miles if I remember. So. All right, it is just after 9 and this got so muddy I had to put the headlamp on. It's dark here in the middle of the woods, so got my foot a little wet. Want to try to avoid that. And so headlamps on. Hope to break out here pretty soon. I think I'm supposed to be at the road at 9:30, so I got about a half an hour. Just stopped at the first sign-in at mile 10 and 9:07, and Dylan signed in at 8:55, so he's 12 minutes in front of me. This is cool. A couple of plaques in the forest. All right, it's all dark now. I just crossed the bridge, and this is a grassy, pretty wet part of the trail. It's not muddy, but it's wet. The grass is wet, and my socks are wet already. It didn't take long. And yeah, there's a lot of mud. 4-hour check-in, 12.5 miles. So a hair less than 3 miles an hour on this one. I did stop and take a 5-minute break or so, fill up with water, and get something to eat. Just some granola and some apples, dried apples and dried bananas. The trail's in good shape though. Very well marked. Volunteers all over the place. There's a guy standing out in the middle of the woods at one of the sign-in boxes. That's how he's spending his Friday night. Really appreciate that. All right, hour 5. 15.5 miles, so kept the 3-mile-an-hour pace. There's a group in front of us, three of them that are kind of helping me keep the pace, and they're doing a nice job of entertaining with their talking. So I'm just kind of following them and listening. But it's almost 11 o'clock now, so 2 hours, get something to eat, and then hike another couple miles to the tent site is probably what I'll do. The next trail register, 11:16. Let's see where Dylan was. Dylan was here at 10:55, so he is 20 minutes ahead of me. Says he's continuing. Okay. Very good. All right, sign the box, cross the road, and it is super starry out. It is pretty. Completely clear. Got a lot of stream crossings here. 6 hours. It is tomorrow, it's Saturday, and about 18.5 miles, so keeping that 3-mile-an-hour pace. It's a pretty section here, but you go back across. There goes a frog there. I don't know if you saw it. Back and forth across this creek several times, trying not to get my feet wet. Looking at 22 miles for first stop, an actual sit down rest. I'll decide if I'm going to keep going or not. Just met a guy from Syracuse, walked with him for a little while. He is a 46er. He did it in 10 days with a friend of his, he said. So his friend wanted to get it done, and they put together a plan and camped out and did it all 46 in 10 days. Pretty impressive. Need a lot of people out here. All right, we are 1 o'clock in the morning. 7 hours. 7, I think, yeah, 21.5 miles. So keeping that 3-mile-an-hour pace. It's really a muddy section here. Muddy and rocky, not easy in the dark. So something's not adding up. I thought the lean-to was going to be at mile 22. I'm almost to mile 24, and I'm still half a mile from there. So I need to double check. Feels like I'm going at a good pace, 3 miles an hour, but I don't know what's going on with that. Coming up to the road here, lean-to will be another half a mile away or so. And what a muddy slog that last 2 or 3 miles was. Super clear, you can see all the stars. Beautiful, beautiful night. A nice night to lay out and a glass of scotch and stare at the stars. But this is just as fun, right? Alright, just signed the log book, and it said it was a 25-mile finisher. So maybe it is right after all. Still probably got a half a mile to the lean-to. Dylan is 28 minutes ahead of me. I signed the logbook at 1:34 a.m. on Saturday. He signed it at 1:06, so he's up there a ways, another mile, probably almost 2 miles ahead of me, 1.5 miles ahead of me. All right, we're at 8 hours, 24.1 miles, so I lost almost all that 5/10 that I was up on, but still above 3 miles an hour for the trip. Still not at the lean-to yet. Here it comes here now. Definitely gonna take a break here. All right, stopped at the lean-to, had some dinner, a chicken casserole, or chicken salad, I guess, and tortillas, and some pretzels. 3 guys in the lean-to already. I was gonna sneak in there, but there's like 10 people walk by while I was eating, and it seems like that's gonna be a crowded place and a noisy place. So I'm gonna walk another mile or 2 and probably camp at Root Run. Forgot about dessert. Brought some Snickers. All right, getting closer to Roots Run, which is where I'm gonna definitely set up camp and try to get 4 hours of sleep. Lost quite a bit of time. I'm we're right at 9 hours now and 25.6 miles. Key is going to be hitting that 50-mile spot at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. If I can get that, I think we're home free. And don't stop for a hamburger. So I got about another 10-minute walk here. It is, what time is it? 3 in the morning. And set up a tent, get some water, get things hung up to dry, and hopefully by 3:30 I can be asleep. Alright, made it to Roots Run. Got camp set up. Got some water. It's 3:40 in the morning. Hoping to get 3 or 4 hours of sleep. And then move on. I'm ready to sleep. Good night. Did not sleep at all. Maybe an hour or so. It's 5:30 in the morning. I was hoping to sleep till 8, but didn't happen. So we're gonna get up and start rolling because I'm not gonna sleep here. Putting my feet together. I put some tape on the bottom of my foot, and I'm gonna put the Injinji socks and then a pair of wool socks over them into my feet. It is 6:15, up and going. I was hoping to sleep till 8, but that didn't happen. Just not very comfortable laying in the bed. Didn't really get a flat spot. The spots were all taken, so I ended up going just kind of in the woods and clearing a spot, but there was a nice big hump right in my back, so tried to flatten it out. May have slept for an hour or so, but that would be about it. I was comfortable warm wise, but to get maybe a little bit more tonight, so I'm leaving early, so I guess maybe I have an extra hour or two if I can make it to the Queen's shelter a little early and sleep there, get a good night's sleep for the last day. So I got a big day today, 45 miles or so. Dylan texted late last night at 3 o'clock in the morning. When I was getting in the route run, he was already on the road crossing the bridge, so he's probably sleeping at that campsite on the other side, I would guess. Beautiful hike right now, watching the sun come up. Very green here today. Alright, here's the long walk over the bridge on the asphalt. Nice and flat, kind of a break. Boy, what a pretty day. Alright, an hour in, 3.3 miles an hour, so moving pretty good. It's a kind of a cool field. I remember this from last time. See the reservoir way in the distance there. Beautiful morning. That was a brutal hill coming up off that road. Probably a good mile and a half of just up. Feels good to be flat now. Alright, that last hour was 2.7 miles an hour, so definitely slowing down. It's a lot of uphill. It's pretty here. These ferns whipping me. I'm ready for a nice gentle, or a flat slope would be preferred, or gentle up. Steep down's almost as bad, so. But we're moving. Should hit Route 6 about an hour ahead of pace, so that's good. I think today's only supposed to be about a 2.6 or 2.7 average day, so I was hoping to beat it a little bit, have more time to sleep tonight, but maybe if it flattens out like it is right now, we can get that. So one of the things I'm having are these goo gels. I have one about every hour. About 100 calories, a lot of carbohydrates, and they work for me. There's all kinds of them on the market. Got a bunch of different flavors: salted caramel, chocolate, berry flavors. They all have different levels of caffeine too, so 40, 20, or 0. So kind of space that out during the day, so more caffeine in the morning and kind of 0 on the last couple hours before I try to sleep. This is so nice walking right here. Beautiful ferns, and the trail is just a bed of needles, pine needles. It's like walking on cushions. Really pretty, really soft, relatively flat. Making some time. It's 9 o'clock, so that's 15 hours and 34.1 miles. So feeling good. Coming up on Route 6 here in a minute. Dylan was there at 7:46, so he was there an hour and 10 minutes ago. I still got 20 minutes before I get there, so he's an hour and a half, close to 2 hours ahead of me right now. He's flying. I think he's just going fast so the pain can end sooner. Coming up to Route 6, just signed the logbook. 9:36. Dylan was here at 8:08, so nearly an hour and a half ahead of me. I'm sure he's an hour and a half ahead of me by now. That's my plan. Just stopped at Route 6, sat down in that actual chair, had some snacks, filled up with water. All right, from Route 6 we got a nice uphill. Just hit 16 hours, and the last hour was 2.5 miles an hour, and that includes 10 minutes of sitting down, so pretty happy with that. Cool older growth section right here. Some big white pines. Really pretty. Big trees. It's a cool spot between some big rocks. Kind of steep. Probably should be using my sticks, but I'll just jog down. Breakfast burritos. Trail magic was awesome. Breakfast burrito. Now we're heading somewhere over here for the trail. To get past this, I guess. Our 17 hours in. Had another stop there for that trail magic. Took a little bit of time off, but 2.5 miles an hour still for that last hour. There's a couple guys there. One was from Willoughby, one was from Menor. Seems like there's a lot of Northeast Ohio folks doing this challenge, so. And ready to go for another, 60 miles or so. Over a third done. So if I can keep this pace, I'm about 10 miles from the halfway point. We're at almost 40 miles now. So 10 miles, if I could do 2.5 miles an hour, that'd be 4 hours. And the time now is 11. It put me there at 3 o'clock, and projected was 4:30. So I'm way ahead of schedule, mostly because of lack of sleep. Walking along a pretty substantial creek. Not sure what it is. I'll look it up and see. It's a lot of water in there. Probably some trout. Pretty area. Keep repeating that. Hour 18. Good hour, 2.9 miles an hour. A lot of it's uphill, like what I'm doing right now. So very happy with 2.9 miles an hour. Still probably 9 miles from 8 or 9 miles from halfway point. My Garmin and my All Trails aren't agreeing on mileage, so I'm not exactly sure. And that's why I'm kind of getting messed up with some of these distances. We're getting it. It's a crazy tree. It's like it grew from a tree that turned over. And some rocks here, pretty cool stuff. We are now at hour 19 and still chugging. Last hour was 2.6 miles an hour. I'll take it. All right, just signed a logbook, and Dylan signed it almost 2 hours ago, so he's way out there. Oh, jeez, look what I found.
I walked the trail.
What's up? What I found? What?
Found him.
We are at the 20-hour mark and about 47 miles, so still cruising. Another 3 or 4 miles to Hamburgers, but that's going to be the hardest thing on this trip is passing on Hamburgers, not waiting there for one. That's what we did last time and ended up, I think, kind of killing us. So now there's a tall hill right after that and just slowed us down. So might grab something to drink and then head up to the top of that hill and then relax for a while. I've got about an hour and a half to get there probably. Here is the long, brutal downhill to the halfway point, Henry Mills. We switched back a couple of times, but it's way down there. Pretty forest. Way down at the bottom. I feel like getting in a sled and just going straight down. Almost to halfway. It is 3:15. Just twisted my ankle good on that steep part. There's a skinny section of trail and stepped off the edge. Seems to be doing all right now, but man, that smarted. Coming up on the halfway point, Route 666 in Henry's Mills, and I think the toughest part of this trip is going to be resisting a hamburger. Gotta love it. Coming into Henry's Mills. Alright, I did it. I skipped the burger and started heading uphill. Did grab a sub, turkey sub, and a Coca-Cola Spice. I've never had that before, but it's kind of funny. So now we got about a mile uphill after that brutal slog downhill. Much prefer the uphill. It is 3:36. I think the goal was 4:30 for here, so hour ahead still. You can hear my breathing starting already. This is steep, but I like this better than going downhill. One other thing, did meet at the beginning a guy named Eric who introduced himself. He saw my last A100 video and said it inspired him to come, so that's pretty cool. Exciting. He was here at the 50. He finished. That's what he was going for, 50. So that's awesome. And then another guy, Tony, that I walk with for a while, he recognized me from the video. So that's fun stuff. Just as a note, the halfway point here, according to my Garmin, is 50.9 miles. So a little over almost 51 miles. You can't see the bottom there, but in an unrealistic short period of time, Henry Mills is way down below. That was steep. Now we got a nice gradual uphill. This is about perfect. I could do the whole trail this steep. Just a little uphill is always nice. Still on this uphill, which isn't horrible, but it's a big switchback. It feels like I'm not gaining any ground, but it's a nice grade and it's comfortable walking. Smooth trail, hard to complain. We are an hour 22 now. Even with that stop at the halfway point, which I didn't grab a burger, but I grabbed a sub, kept on walking, talked for a minute, and then kept going, signed the logbook, but still got 2.9 miles an hour on that. So passed on the burger, grabbed a sandwich and a Coke. Here's the Coke. I think I'm going to have that now. Spiced Coca-Cola, never had it before it gets warm, because I think I'm going to go to Hunter Station to sit down and have my sandwich, maybe even lay down for a minute. That's about 3 more miles, another hour, and I'll be there and knock some of this stuff out while still feeling good. This was that stretch last time that really killed me. That 50 to 60 miles seemed like it took forever, so I'm gonna get some of that out of the way. Well, this is pretty in here. This is almost a Hunter Station, probably a mile or so, less than a mile away from it. Very pretty. Soft ground, easy walking. No rocks, no roots. I'll take it. Hour 23. Got 2.6 miles per hour. That last section, that last hour. Keep that. Pushing. I think I'm just going to keep going all the way to Queens Creek. Lean-to. It's another long way yet, but 11 o'clock. So it's 5 now. 6 hours of walking. Whatever that works out to. If I get there by 11, I don't really have to leave there till 6 or maybe even 7. I'll probably leave there at 6, but if I could get 7 hours of sitting there, that could be all I need. Minister Creek Valley and back out, that's kind of muddy typically through there, so it might take me a while. But I don't think I'll get lost. I went and scouted that, so I think I know how to get through there this year in the dark with no sleep. I'm tired as hell, but I'll do it. Pretty substantial bridge over this little creek. It's kind of neat. Almost to Hunter's something lean-to. Actually, I can see it right now. We are at 24 hours. And last hour was 2.2 miles an hour. So not great, but did stop and have a quick sandwich. And then I stopped and rested for about 5 minutes at Hunter Station. Just walked out of Hunter Station. So 4.5 miles to Minister Creek Road. And I've got about 9 miles to at Queens Creek lean-to. Hopefully I get there about 11 o'clock. Get in bed before 11:30 and get some sleep. But now it's just a couple hours. It is 5 hours of walking. That's it. Just 5 more hours. That's all I got. All right, we are at 25 hours, halfway through the challenge. It's 7 o'clock, wait, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. We're just hit 60 miles, 60.2 miles. That last hour was 2.9 miles an hour. I was cooking, it was all nice, easy grade uphill. The downhill grade kills my knees right now. I'm about a mile to Minister Road, and then about 5 or 6 miles into the Queens Creek lean-to. So looking about 10:30, 11 o'clock to get there. I'm sure when it gets dark, it's going to get a little bit slower just because it's so muddy along that section of Minister Creek. All right, coming up to Minister Road. Sign-in sheet, 7:25. Dylan signed it at 5:30, an hour and 55 minutes ahead of me.
Talk about time, I'm back here about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah?
Just start when you get... Just stopped at Minister Road. Sharon and Allison were there to see us, or see me. Dylan was 2 hours ago. Say goodnight, and Allison had some tiger balm that she used on Dylan's back before we started, and I put some on my knees, and my goodness, what a difference that makes. I'm walking downhill now with absolutely nothing. I need to get some more of that. That's could save me tomorrow. But I made a mistake. It's only 4.5 miles to Queens Creek Lean-To, so I'm going to be there by 9:30. That's hard to believe, but that's where we're at. Just finished hour 26. It's been out here for 26 hours, and we're at 62 plus 0.6 or something like that miles. 2.4 miles the last mile, and that was with stopping and resting for a good 10 or 12 minutes. So real happy with that. It was a nice uphill most of the way, so it was pretty easy walking. The downhill is what killed me, but going good. I'm hoping for 9:30 at the shelter and lights out. So here's where we start the descent into Minister Creek. So this is going to be rough. It was in the middle of the night last time, so this might be a pleasure. But downhill still not the easiest, but let's see how it goes. Take our time. Beautiful Minister Creek. Made it to the bottom, and it is still an hour of light left. Oh, couldn't be better. Couldn't it be any better than I had hoped for. I'm gonna head up the other side, and in the light, very happy. Starting to get dark. I don't need the headlamp quite yet, but I'm sure I'm going to be stepping into some mud puddles, so I'm going to get out here any minute. Got about 1.5 miles or 2 miles to the lean-to. So looking forward to that. Probably another 40-minute walk or something. Hard telling, but just keep plugging away at it and ready for sleep. There's a owl hooting in the background right now. It's kind of cool. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's definitely more than 4.2 miles. I don't know if I broke up the trip when we were out here training or what I did, but I still got another 2 miles to go probably. I've already gone 4 miles, so for some reason I had it in my head it was 7. Maybe it really is 7. Whatever, it's going to be not 9:30, but probably 10:30 when I get there. Still be able to hopefully get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Hopefully there's a spot open for me. Really don't want to pack up the tent in the rain tomorrow, because that's what I'd end up having to do. Alright, it is raining outside, and I'm just going to try to get organized here. Quite a bit of room actually inside the tent, but get my tape on my feet, socks on, shoes on, and pack up and get rolling. Shelter was full, so set up the tent, did real well, stayed dry, and we'll pack it up now and get out of here about 6 o'clock or so, 6:15. Good morning, it's 6:15 on Sunday. Wanted to start at 6:15, I'll take it in the rain. We got to the lean-to at around 10:30, 11, something like that. A lot later than I had hoped. Lean-to was full, plus there's a couple tents there, so set up the tent out back. Got a few hours sleep, I'm pretty sure. It felt good. Feel good right now. And rained pretty hard for a little while, but had to get all packed up inside the tent. But the rain's pretty much stopped now. A little bit of a drizzle. Not too bad, definitely manageable. It's nice and cool out. Nice morning. And we'll see what we got. We got 12 miles to Kellettville, and then another 20 or so to the finish line. So starting to rain a little bit harder. I was hoping it was over, but they said it was raining up to 9 o'clock or so, so I have to just get wet and then dry off. At least a couple more hours of potential rain. So last night was pretty demoralizing. I was feeling really good at Minister Road. I think I got there at 7:30, or left by 7:30, and thought I only had about 4 miles to hike, a little over 4 to get to Queen's shelter, but it was more like 6 or 7. Got to the shelter and it was packed. Knew the rain was coming, and it did. It rained pretty hard for a little while, but not too bad. Everything was dry in the tent. Very happy with the tent. Was set up on a little bit of a slope, so I was sliding down a little bit, but moved around a lot, but finally fell asleep. I think pretty hard. It'd be interesting to see what Fitbit says about my sleep, but I was pretty out of it, and all of a sudden it was 5:30 in the morning. So I know I got several good hours of sleep, solid, and after not so fun last night and packing up, sitting down in the tent, getting everything squared away, which actually there's a lot of room with those 2 vestibules. I really like it. Piled stuff on one side, had my pack on the other, and then got everything in before I even stepped foot outside of the tent. So it all worked out better than I could have imagined under the circumstances, which really weren't that bad. But it's now 6:45 in the morning on Sunday, and feeling good. Knees are a little bit sore, but they'll get loosened up. And this is a pretty easy piece of trail right here to make some time. So hopefully I can make some time here. All right, we are at hour 37. I'm at 71.2 miles. I know Dylan was eyeballing that. All right, we're going to fill up on some water. Good spot here. Some electrolytes going, have a little bit more breakfast before we carry on. We're coming up 2.5 hours. No, 1.5 hours. So we're moving pretty good. All right, hour 38 just passed while I was getting that water and a little bit of breakfast, and we are at 74 miles. So hoping to get to Kellettville before 11 o'clock. Leave by 11 o'clock. I think that'll put us in a pretty good spot. 39 hours in the books. 2.9 miles an hour in that last one, and that had part of that rest stop or water stop in that too. So another super pretty spot along the North Country Trail. Making some time now. This has been flat for a while. Real nice. Talk about some of the things happy with. Taping my foot, definitely. These Injinji socks. I don't have any blisters at all between my toes. And I might have a grouse up here. Nope, never mind. Injinji toe socks were awesome. Brooks Cascadia shoes. Definitely like the gaiters. If nothing else, they kept the laces nice and clean. Because it was really muddy for that first 30 miles or so. Tent worked out real well. No water in the tent. That Featherstone tent. Get out gear. Blanket was plenty warm both nights. Definitely brought way too much food. Just can't eat it all. All the Pro bars and the granola and trail mix and all that is just a lot. You can't keep stuffing. But yeah, real happy with all the gear. So I thought it was a good idea to put the tape for my feet on my trekking poles so I'd have them handy all the time and not have to take the whole roll. That was a mistake when you use your trekking poles as your tent stakes or tent poles and it's raining outside, so you're trying to get all ready and put together inside the tent while you're trying to rip off tape from the top of your trekking poles. You're sitting down in a little crunch tent, so bad idea there. Got to wrap it around something, maybe in the first aid kit, like the aspirin bottle or something like that. All right, hour 40 hours in the books, and I am just about to that spot on the road where you walk down into Kellettville. So that's going to be brutal. 3.2 miles an hour in the last hour, which very happy with. But I'm going to lose a lot of that here because I'm going slow down that hill, and I'll probably stop in the campground there and get filled up with water and stuff for that final 20 plus miles. So feeling good. Needs a little bit burning, but it is what it is. Yep, this part's gonna suck. Take a look at it. Kind of a half-paved road. Not too bad right here, but it's all downhill for about a mile, maybe half a mile. So just signed the box at the 75-mile mark back there, and what time is it? 10 o'clock almost, and Dylan signed it at 4 o'clock in the morning. So 6 hours in front of it. Damn. So this is that road that seemed impossibly steep 2 years ago with my feet killing me. It's still pretty steep. It's not real pleasant on my knees, but it's manageable. I'm still making some decent time coming down it, so pretty happy. So just past Kellettville campground, and this is the new reroute of the trail. It used to, I think you walked on the road for like 2 more miles. They ran us through the woods. Pretty nice. A little creek next to you, kind of up on a hill. I think that's the Tionesta River on the left. Instead of recording, I should have been paying attention. I missed this left-hand turn. A little out of my way. A few hundred yards, that's it. National Forest boundary, 14.5 miles. That's where I'm headed. That should be it. Alright, just signed the logbook here as I'm heading into the woods. I think it's 10 miles before the next road. 10.8 or something like that. No, I forget already. It looks like I signed it at 10:55. Dylan signed it at 4:50. So do the math on that. Hour 41. And another good, didn't think would be so fast, but it ended up being 2.9 miles an hour. Coming down that hill wasn't nearly as bad as what I remembered. I guess I had no feet the last time I did it, so that was brutal. This time it was not bad at all. Unless they flattened it out a little bit. Maybe they did that for me. I only got a flat spot. That climb coming up from that Kellettville road was brutal. Back and forth, a couple switchbacks, a couple straight up. It's like a brand new lean-to here. Looks pretty nice. Can mark this on the map. Come stay here sometime. Not today though. There are some massive rocks along here. Really cool place to explore. We are at hour 42. It's now noon on Sunday. Seems like I said 42 last hour, but if I did, it's wrong. Wouldn't be surprised. It's been a long time. 2.5 miles an hour for that last mile. So if I can keep that, I should be finishing up at about 5:30. 43 hours and about 10 miles to go. 2.8 miles per hour in that last one. So this part of the trail is a little less fun. It's grassy, kind of uneven grass out in the sun. We're paralleling, I think it's Salmon Creek, but it's mostly just like this cut grass, but it's uneven, hard to walk on. I'm gonna go over the creek now, it looks like. Looks nice. Probably some trout in there.
Here comes somebody. Somebody's coming. Dylan. Let's go, Dylan!
You did it! Woohoo!
Mile 44. We are on an up right now from, I think it's Salmon Creek, where those grassy paths were. Not the prettiest spot. This is kind of nice coming up this hill. This is nicer than going down for sure. I think there's about 7 miles left. Still shooting for about 5 or 5:30. And I think I got a little bit left in the tank. I don't know that I'm gonna make this an out and back, but certainly 7 more miles is doable. Hour 45. Going downhill. This is rough, kind of some rocky terrain. I probably should just stop, but another 2.5 mile an hour in the books. I think I'm about 5 minutes from Goytonville Road. Should be there any second. I hope, find some water. All right, last logbook to sign. Let's do it. All right, just signed the last logbook, 3:38. Dylan signed it at 11:12, and there's about 4.6 miles left. I'm gonna flip this. That's what I'm looking for. Route 66, 4.6 miles.
Beat us there.
It is 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. We are at hour 46. I'm not going to make it by 5, but I think 5:30, 5:45, something like that. Should be able to pull in and have some beer and hot dogs or something. Looking forward to it. Filled up with water. Got some of my energy back. That's what I needed, was some water. What time is it? 5 p.m. Hour 47. And I'm exactly 1 mile away from finishing this up. They rerouted this last mile, so it could be a little bit off, but took me a minute to find it. You have to walk past where it turned last time, so gets you off of that road quick though. This is pretty awesome though. 1 mile, last mile. See if I can take another 1,800 steps or so. Hope the Garmin lasts. It's got about 5% battery left, so hope I last. I got about 3% battery left. See you at the top. Half a mile to go. Somebody said there is ice cold beer and hot dogs at the finish line, so. It's an interesting bridge. Well, this is a brand new trail, a little bit of a reroute, so a few hundred yards we'll be there. I can hear the traffic on 66. Smell the hot dogs, taste the beer. All right, now I can see the parking lot. It is 5:17 on Sunday afternoon.
Yay!